Let's watch Fox News liberal Jessica Tarlov sound off on her Fox News co-host on The Five as we continue the trend today of calling out the misinformation machine, where here they're trying to be more, anti-immigrant in their rhetoric and Biden bad, that kind of nonsense. So let's just jump into it and see what fact checks we can provide.
Build hopefully more than the 52 miles, which is all he was able to get done.
Not true.
500 miles where 450 of them were just repairing existing walls already.
No,
it was 52 miles of new wall.
That's not true. You know better than anybody that that's not true.
She built the wall?
That's been debunked.
In this outfit?
It's not true.
You've been
could
debunked.
have.
She could, though.
I could dismantle it and rebuild it, but this is proof.
People will say things like it was the Democrats that stopped them, or like it was under construction and just didn't take. And they just literally don't understand what went wrong here. I mean, first off, the first thing to note is Trump had funding approved for 738 miles of wall to be built. None of this funding Mexico paid for, by the way, which was the promise. But this was charted out and scheduled to be completed, like the construction to be completed in full in Trump's first term. Trump left office at the end of his first term with 452 miles of construction completed. Of that, just under 53 miles is new wall, which means 399 miles, 400 miles is replacement. And the old wall looked like this, by the way, so it's not like it was like a shabby wood fence or something that he had to do like massive reconstruction on. Like, don't get that wrong. He's adding like a foot or two to these walls. And I mean, what Trump promised anyway was to build a shiny new wall, not replace a wall. If you pay someone to build you a new house where there's like a broken down shed on the property or something, and they come in and instead like replace 3 of the walls in the shed, you're not going to say they succeeded. You're not going to say they were doing what you asked. And even furthermore, let's say we granted Trump the 452 miles. That is less than 25% of the entire border, something that he said would be constructed, Mexico would pay for, and would be done by the time he was out of office. And still, if we're even just looking at what he had specifically approved and had funding for, so we took $15 billion of taxpayer dollars, he only constructed about half of that. The money was spent, it was scheduled to be done, and it never happened. So by any metric you want to view the wall, it was a massive fail, and it wasn't because of Democrats. It was because of Trump. It was because of his government and his coordination fails. It was because of him not being able to work in his own party in a partisan manner where he has these majorities and still gonna get the things passed, still gonna keep things on timelines and schedules. And now we're supposed to think that he's like this massive negotiator who's gonna work bipartisan and all of that. I mean, we paid for it, Mexico didn't. That's a fail. That's a lie. He only built 52 miles of new wall. It cost us $15 billion essentially for 52 miles of new wall. And again, way less than what he promised. So that's a fail. That's a lie. Only 20% of the wall, about 50% of what was approved was built. That is a fail. And of course, for Trump, MAGA is just going to give him the credit for just trying. But of course, Biden gets no charitability for anything ever because Democrats bad and Trump, it's the thought that counts.
So the story of what's actually going on, according to Donald Trump's superfan, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick of Texas, is that these materials are not worth anything. They're junk. So the Texas Facilities Commission inspected everything. Oh, get his face.
It's junk? So it's cheaper for Tyrus and I to buy.
Yes, this is
I'm happy to help your business.
But it's junk because it was rotting in the desert for 4 years.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Whatever you want to say, the point is that this material is not worth the cost of shipping it from Arizona to Texas, and they don't want it. So this isn't about President Biden or lefties out there trying to sabotage Donald Trump on his way in. This is about the fact that this is junk and it's not worth it.
And this is a perfect example of the conspiracy brain rot of MAGA, but also like how they're too brainwashed to even realize it's exactly what their masters want from them. You start making conspiracies about Biden and the left and how they're sabotaging Trump in the wall before he even comes into office, because then when Trump comes into office and fails to build the wall again, they can just go, it was the Democrats. See, they sabotaged us. And they do so by circulating such easily debunkable nonsense that it actually hurts my brain. These are the kinds of things that if people bring these into my comments and say it as a dig or a gotcha, or if I'm talking to someone in my everyday life and they bring these things up, I instantly know I can't take these people serious. I should never talk to them about politics again because here, for instance, the story is Biden and lefties are now selling away for pennies our border wall as this last ditch effort to stop Trump from building it, because of course we want all the migrants to come in. And if we build the wall, it'll stop them because, walls historically stop migration. But we're doing this in public. We don't care who knows because, we're choosing the migrants over America. And it's just like, what's the point of saying this? Even Trump failed in his first term in building the wall. Why would we need to sabotage him in the second? He can't get it done on his own. We don't need to do anything. And literally one Google search would get you to the truth, which is it's unused materials that are taking up space, most of which aren't even of the quality to be used anymore for the wall if we were even going to build it. We spent $15 billion on these materials. We're now spending more storing them and would have to spend even more shipping them just for most of them to never be used. Texas has stated they don't want them, stated they don't need them. So why would we not sell them and try to make some of the money back from them? That sounds like just the right thing to do. This is what I mean when I say that this ecosystem is tiring. One side doesn't at all have to live in reality while we do, and we have to combat fantasy with reality. But we're battling in fantasy, and it's just never going to be fair. What are we supposed to do at this point? The right is arguing over, should we use dragons or dinosaurs as our transportation and combat when we go to war with Mars, right? And the left is hey, dragons and dinosaurs don't exist. We're not going to be able to ride those. We're not going to go to war with Mars. So why are we talking about this? And then we just get told that we're brainwashed and we're following fake news just for the dragons to never show up. And then the right still blames the left because the left stole the dragons or something. That is what we're dealing with right now.